ain't see me, you Stevie. Wondering how I reach more evolutions than Eevee and make it look easy.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's your boy Ernie, the Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. Before we get into the video though, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any of my videos going forward. Also make sure you hit that like button, because not only does it help me out, it helps me find more viewers like yourself, but it also helps you find more of my videos, because YouTube will be like, oh, you like that one, so here, watch this other one. It's a thing. Anyway, we're gonna be talking about Storm #1, written by friend of the channel Mirewa Ayodele, with art by Lucas Wernick, color by Alex Guimarães, and for Cifuentes Suho, and we also have letters by Travis Lanham. This issue, this is really the book I have been waiting for the most out of really any of the From the Ashes stuff, right up there with Evel Ewing's Exceptional X-Men, Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men. This Storm series was right up there. And what let me know that I was, well, obviously because I've spoken with Mirewa, I know a little bit about what's going on here, but also I have a lot of faith in Mirewa as a writer, just being a huge fan of his Aquagun series, as well as his turn, because this isn't his first Marvel comic series. He also did I Am Iron Man, and that's a very good series. You should totally check it out if you have not. But I really like what he can do when he has the pen in his hand and he's ready to do work. I like what he is capable of bringing to the table. So there was no hesitation on my part when it came to whether or not I was going to read the series. It was like, well, yeah, duh, of course I am. But the thing that I was really excited for is what is in store for Storm. Yeah, because, don't get me wrong, we get lots of comics about a lot of the different X-Men characters. And while, yes, Wolverine is probably the one who almost always has a solo series, a lot of the other characters don't really get them very often. And Storm, I think, actually gets them less than most. But I was really excited for this and to see Storm in this new status quo. And what I also love about this is just how much respect, how much genuine respect Mirewa is putting on Storm as a character. Like, there's lots of little interesting little callbacks and nods and things. There's a part where Storm is addressing the public, and when she's addressing the crowd, she says the thing.
Say the line, Bart!
Storm, Mistress of the Elements, commands you to release that child.
Yeah! She says it, and I was just like, oh, chef's kiss is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see. She carries herself with that same air of a goddess that we expect from Storm. She sounds like Storm. She walks like Storm. She talks like Storm. She looks like Storm. She is Storm. This is like literally the whole time. Like when I saw the very opening, I don't know if this was intentional or not on Mirewa's part in the writing of this, or Lucas Wernick's in the drawing of it. But there was this point where, she's going through, the motions of getting herself ready, getting herself prepared to go out and be the Earth's protector. And what I really dug about this is that it just, I don't know, it just felt like something Storm would do. It felt right. Like, it felt like something she would do, like walking through, choosing her outfit, having all of these different looks and fits to choose from, and then going out into the world and just doing her thing. And the kickoff point for the Storm series is that Aurora has found herself caught in the middle of something that I don't think she even expected to be caught up in. At a certain point, we see that we're getting taken back to several days ago. She's actually getting ready to hold a press conference in Atlanta, but we cut back to see what actually led to this, and there's lots of rumors about how she's going to be running for office. This is something that was kind of hinted at and teased at throughout some of the, I guess, kind of single issue, one-shot type deals that are usually teasing what's coming for the next crop of Marvel comics. Stuff like Timeless, stuff like the Women of Marvel one-shot. There's a lot of things that kind of imply that Storm was going to be going in a very specific direction, but we don't really get to see that play out the way that, a lot of people are probably going to want to. But I mean, the seeds are definitely laid there. There's references, direct references to the fact that it's a potential possibility that she's going to run for some sort of office. But on the other end of that, one of the things I found really interesting is that we cut to 7 days prior to this, and there's this huge explosion in Oklahoma. It's something that's even referenced before we even see it. And when we get there, we see the Storm and another one of my favorite characters. I'm so happy that Marewa included this character in this first issue. Frenzy, one of my favorite mutants who is not always an X-Man. She started out as an X-Factor villain originally, working alongside Apocalypse, and then later with the Acolytes under Magneto and Fabian Cortez and Exodus and so on and so forth. But yeah, I was just really happy to see that, Frenzy was there. And, Storm is doing her thing. She's saving people. There's this massive explosion. This nuclear reactor is just blown up. And, there's all kinds of crazy radiation and debris and things. And Storm just comes in and she does what Storm does best. She saves lives. And I thought that was actually just, really cool seeing Storm do the thing that, like, other superheroes always get to do. But Storm, well, not to say she doesn't save lives, but I mean, she's doing it in a almost solo capacity, something more comparable to like a Superman or a Captain Marvel or any other superpowered being who saves lives. But then something happens, and there's actually a couple of different things that happened I thought were really cool, but things that just kind of show you, I guess, the overall weight of Storm's character. There's a moment where some of the people they're trying to save, they don't like mutants. They are supporters of Orcus, which no longer exist, but it's kind of like rocking the Confederate flag on your shirt or hat or truck. You're wearing the flag of the losing team, but hey, it is what it is. These people are rocking Orcus merch, and Storm says, we save everyone. I thought that was very on brand for Storm. And getting closer to the situation, Storm is taking hits. Like, and I think this issue is also a friendly reminder that Storm is not invulnerable. Like, and I say this all the time, and I think I said this when I was talking about Storm joining the Avengers very recently. You just gotta understand, Storm, she's not invulnerable. She is a goddess, but she's also a vulnerable goddess. I mean, for all intents and purposes, she's kind of a glass cannon. And I don't mean that in any dismissive way, but I mean, just compared to a lot of other mutants who have powers similar to her, she is not superhumanly strong. She's not superhumanly durable. So at a point when a piece of debris almost kills her, it's something you take seriously because you fear for Storm's life. The fact that she's walking into a nuclear reactor where there's radiation levels sky high, like you feel like you're walking the glowing sea in Fallout 4 or whatever. But no, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. And Storm is just taking it all on the chin, like Storm always does, because she's tough. She's a badass. You don't give up. You don't bet against Storm. It's not a wise choice. And she does it. She goes in there. But the thing is, when she finds out what it is that is causing the reactor to go up, she sees something that she didn't expect. And it's that it's a child. It's a mutant child at the heart of the reactor. And the child is the reason why so many people are dying. So many people have lost their lives. And it breaks Storm's heart to the point that the kid actually asks her to end him. And she doesn't do it. She does not do it because that's not who Storm is as a character. That's just not who she is. And that's why I think people love her. Something is born out of this that I think also tests Storm's character. The fact that, well, she's had the numbers run. She's had Tony from the Avengers. Tony Stark comes in and is running the numbers on this whole thing. He's cross-referencing everything. And to his understanding, well, yes, the nuclear reactor had a piece of what I'm going to go on a limb and say, well, I don't think the word celestial is actually thrown out, but I think it's safe to say that, yeah, it looks like there was a celestial hidden inside the reactor that humans were using to siphon energy off of. We know that celestials are huge reservoirs of energy. Yeah, this isn't news, but just the fact that it was being done at all, it kind of helps take some of the heat off of mutants. But that's the problem, is that Storm is living a lie at this point. And I know some people will probably hate Storm for this or think, oh, I would have done it. But here's the thing, you're not Storm, and this is Storm's character. This isn't any kind of character assassination. Storm is in a position where she has to tell a lie. And while technically she doesn't really tell a lie, she just kind of lets the lie kind of tell itself. She lets humanity believe that it was actually a celestial, like a piece of alien, some kind of extraterrestrial creature that is the reason why so many human lives were lost. And now humans are finally starting to be like, oh, no. I mean, yeah, we still don't like mutants, but man, it's really good that, mutants were there to save our bacon when the chips were down, because clearly, these other humans over here, these people who are supposed to be like us, they're out here, doing all kind of crazy stuff and, risking our lives. So yeah, I guess, you know what? Maybe those mutants are all right. You know what? I take it back. I take back everything I said. I know I used to say mutie with the hard E, but you know what? I'm not going to say it anymore. I know there's that tape out there where I walked up to somebody and said, yo, what's up, my mutie? That wasn't me. That wasn't me. I'm a different guy now. Yeah, there's people out there doing that. There's people saying, yeah, man, mutants. Yeah, you know what? I like those guys. But the thing is, Storm knows that, well, yes, she has given in a roundabout way, mutant kind a dub here. Like, everybody's winning. Mutants and humans are getting along. Mutant-human relations are better than ever. She doesn't want to live the lie because, once again, as we talk about character, that is not who Storm is. Storm is about the truth. She's about, honestly, of any Marvel Comics character, Storm is probably closer in regards to Superman than, in terms of, scruples and morals and ideals than probably just about anybody else. I mean, she believes in truth and justice. She believes in fighting the good fight, and she's not going to sit here and, while yes, mutants getting the dub from humanity, yeah, that's cool, but at what cost? And, living that lie, that's not who Storm is. So she tells the truth, and it backfires horribly. Horribly. And this is after she's warmed everybody up with talk of putting her storm sanctuary over Atlanta, got people all excited and happy that she's doing the thing. The X-Men are like, okay, yeah, this is actually going well. The Avengers like, yeah, this is going well. And then she tells the truth, and literally, yeah, it happens. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. It ends up going bad. It ends up going real bad. It's kind of Storm's fault in a way for not being upfront about it at first. But the thing is, this isn't really all that Storm's up to. Some of you probably have heard that, Storm, she's fated for something better. Something else is coming. We don't really know precisely what it is, but we know that Eternity has their eye on Storm. Eternity has been watching over and finds Storm worthy. Now, what is it exactly Eternity wants from Storm? He seemingly wants her to become his eternal Storm, and what that ultimately means, and it's something that we see Storm wrestle with in this issue a little bit, is her mortality, because at a point, as I said earlier, she gets radiation poisoning, she gets, stabbed by a piece of debris flying at, ridiculous speeds. It doesn't kill her, but it could have if it had hit in the right spot. But yeah, we see she's still suffering the effects of radiation poisoning later on, even after the fact. Days later, she's still coughing up blood. And what I think is going to happen here, and like I said, I could be very wrong here, and I'm open to being wrong on this, but what I feel is happening here is that Storm is going to find herself in a situation where she's a lot, I don't want to say weaker in terms of power levels, but just in terms of physicality. I feel she's going to find herself in a very weakened state, but she's going to have to do great things while she's in that weakened state. And not only will she have to take on this fight weakened, but she is going to be attacked more often than what she has been here. We see at a point where the attack actually happens, where she's injured, and the narrator tells us that this is but the first. This is but a taste of things to come for Storm, and that there will be more trials. There will be more attempts on her life that the universe is going to try and perpetrate against her, and that ultimately there will be one that will be successful. But I think there's a good reason for that. I think that in a lot of ways, Storm is going to be taking on what I can only compare to the trials of Hercules, that she is going to be tested, that she is going to be pushed to the absolute brink. And who knows, maybe by the end of this, Storm will die, as the narrator has promised us. Sometimes when we use the term of death in comics, it's usually not an actual death. Sometimes it's, as you see in tarot, death doesn't mean death, it means change. It means, in comics, death usually means the death of self. the death of who you were and the rebirth of who you will become. And I kind of feel like that's where Mirewa is going to take us. I feel like Storm is going to die, but maybe not so much just in a metaphysical sense, probably in an actual sense, but then come back as something far greater. And once again, I don't want to profess to know exactly what he's cooking, but I wonder if that great power that Storm has buried within her, something that we haven't actually seen unleashed in quite some time, since, you know, the days of yore, when Chris Claremont was writing the Uncanny X-Men series. Once upon a time, some of you may or may not have seen my video about it, but if you've not, I'm gonna link it up here somewhere. You can go check it out. I'm not gonna pontificate it on it too much more than what I am here, but in 1981's Uncanny X-Men number 147, we did bear witness to a power that's buried deep within Storm, something that I feel like maybe Eternity, the entity that is overseeing all this, is very likely going to try to manipulate, to use, to bring out. Maybe it's something new. Maybe it's a new power we haven't seen, but it would be a really interesting take if Mirewa goes in the direction of pulling from that old Uncanny X-Men number 147, where Storm became so powerful, she was effectively on the same level, most likely, as the Phoenix. So, and just to kind of put it in perspective, I have heard some rumblings. This isn't from Mirewa, so I don't want to get him in trouble, but I have heard some rumblings elsewhere, and I've even kind of mused about this myself, that somewhere down the stretch, maybe we will see a Storm Phoenix crossover somewhere down the stretch, because we know Stephanie Phillips is writing the Phoenix series, is running right now, and I wonder, I see a lot of parallels between their series, and I feel like, and we know we have Uncanny X-Men and, the adjectiveless X-Men going to be crossing over here very soon. I would love to see Phoenix and Storm crossover, especially considering all that history that's there. But I'm getting way out in the weeds here. But the point of the matter is, I think Storm is going to go through these trials. And that death that is alluded to, I think that death is going to bring Storm beyond Omega level, her being elevated to the next echelon of mutant superiority. And what I mean by that is just the fact that, yeah, Storm's a god. She's a goddess. She is considered a goddess. I know a lot of people don't like that. There's a subsector of people who don't like the fact that she's considered a god, but here's the thing. She was concepted as a god, going back to the Claremont days. I've literally watched Chris Claremont talk about how, yes, Storm is a goddess. Full stop. And all that entails. And she was written as such. I feel like she's going to be leveled up. I feel like she's going to get a big level up, a power boost, if you will. I don't mean so much in terms of her current power set, because let's be honest, she's an Omega level mutant. I don't think you can take her much further than that. And I think that we're going to see her actually boosted up to those next levels, and we see what is effectively what Eternity sees in her, that he sees her becoming the Eternal Storm. He sees her with the new white garb, looking amazing, mind you. Let's put that out there. I don't know if people are going to be ready for it. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I know that her sickness is not going away anytime soon, and we know that over the next issue or two, she's still going to be dealing with that. I think honestly, she'll probably be dealing with that sickness for the first 4 or 5 issues, maybe 6 issues. I don't know. But what I do know is Storm's in good hands. Storm is in damn good hands. And I think by the time that Mirewa is done with this, by the time he gets us to the end of this first arc, I feel like Storm, while she's already a household name, I think a lot more people are going to both be talking about Storm and her new status quo and all the crazy shit she's going to be getting into, and B, I think a lot more people are going to be kissing the ring of Mirewa Ayodele.